Hey everyone, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm tackling a really interesting subject, and that is the top 10 most Skyrim-like games. There are quite a few of these videos out there, but they tend to just repeat the same games over and over. What I'd like to do is pick out the best of those, but also include some that you may never heard of. Skyrim is one of those games that you probably own on multiple platforms. I know I own it on PC, Nintendo, Xbox, and PC VR. It's quite the marketing trick that they've managed to sell us that game multiple times. My first experience of Skyrim was of course breathtaking, and I remember Tom also picked it up and enjoyed it a little bit later than me. I've gone back to it so many times over the years and had some magnificent adventures. Now I'm no expert and I never actually finished the game, but wow, I must have put maybe 400 hours into the actual game and I never finished the main quest. That's absolutely crazy. Recently, I got to enjoy it all over again, messing around in virtual reality. I'm not quite sure how many more times they're going to sell me this game, but I think it's time to look at some alternatives. Now, despite the game showing its age and many flaws, I don't think any game is really going to be comparable to Skyrim as an overall experience, but we're going to try. Before we jump in, it's worth mentioning all the awesome mods that you can get for Skyrim, Oblivion, and even Morrowind. They are not going to feature in this list, but possibly they could in a future one. Now there's an idea. So we're going to outline 10 completely separate games to Skyrim, nothing to do with mods, and also I have a bonus feature to start out looking forward to a game that's coming out in 2024. So strap in, hit that like button, and subscribe if you're new here. We're really excited to have you along for the journey. Welcome first to the bonus feature, which is Avowed, a first-person fantasy RPG from Obsidian Entertainment. This is the only game on the list which hasn't come out yet or isn't in early access. It's coming to us in 2024. All we have at the moment with this one is a Steam page and a very interesting looking trailer that really draws comparisons to Skyrim. It looks a very exciting project and I am very hyped for this one. You get to face many dangerous creatures inhabiting the living lands, and you can mix and match swords, spells, guns and shields to make quick work of your enemies. The graphics and magical effects in the trailer look absolutely spectacular, but we have been burnt by trailers before. Aliens Colonial Marines, I'm looking at you. However, it looks a wonderful Skyrim-like project and I want you to be aware of it and stick it on your wish list. Let's all hope it delivers what we want. I really wanted to capture your attention straight out the gate, so I went with Dread Delusion as my first choice. In this game, you embark on an epic journey in an expansive open-world RPG filled with mysterious locations and ominous challenges. You will find yourself navigating the floating continents of a fractured realm, forging a unique destiny. You will encounter peculiar towns, unveil occult mysteries, harness potent magic, and shape the course of the world with the weight of your decisions. Adventure awaits you in this game, where every choice echoes across the sprawling landscapes of a dark and captivating universe. I have to say, this is probably the most unique game on the list, and it really reminds me of Morrowind. It's strange and it's very quirky, but ultimately it's a captivating and immersive adventure game. This game is one that is still in early access, though they do make regular updates. However, I do find these a bit slow, and it's my hope that they speed up and deliver us a finished product. This, however, is one of the most exciting games on the list, and I do hope that you go out and support them. Next up, we have Greedfall. In this game, you will embark on an immersive role-playing journey, where you wield the power to shape the destiny of a newly discovered realm brimming with magic, untold riches, and enigmatic secrets. Playing this game, you will traverse a world teeming with fantastical creatures where diplomacy, deception, and force are your tools to navigate its intricacies. I found that this game allowed you to immerse yourself in a living, evolving landscape where your choices influence the course of events, and every action contributes to the unique tapestry of your personal story. Both Skyrim and Greedfall share the foundation of being open-world role-playing games, offering expansive, immersive environments, diverse quests, and opportunities for character development. The setting of Greedfall, inspired by the 17th century, is very different to the high fantasy setting of Skyrim. Ultimately, whether you enjoy this will depend on your individual preferences, whether you prefer a narrative-driven, focused experience or a more open-ended, exploration-heavy adventure in Skyrim. Both games offer unique strengths and cater to different aspects of the role-playing genre. Overall, Greedfall is a solid experience and can be picked up for pretty cheap these days on sale. Coming up next, we have Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. Experience the resurgence of a beloved RPG as it makes a triumphant return, now remastered with breathtaking visuals and enhanced gameplay. Re-Reckoning invites you into a vast dynamic game world where intense and customizable RPG combat awaits you. The games have a number of similarities, including the open world exploration, character customization, combat systems, quests and side quests, and the fantasy setting. However, while these similarities exist, it's essential to note that each game also has its unique features, setting them apart in terms of lore, combat mechanics, art style, and overall design. One real standout feature of Re-Reckoning is that its lore was created by renowned author R.A. Salvatore, offering a distinct flavour within the open world RPG genre. Moving onwards, we have Outward, a challenging odyssey where survival demands resilience against not only lurking predators, but also the perils of frigid nights and infectious wounds. Whether venturing through the vast world alone or in co-op, Outward is an extremely challenging experience. I remember starting out in this game and I literally spent ages in the first town just preparing myself for my first adventure into the wilderness. That is not like Skyrim. However, the pair do share commonalities in their open world design, emphasizing player agency in facing dynamic threats while exploring an immersive and challenging fantasy experience. But I can't emphasize enough with this one, challenging is the word. It's very much like a Souls game in difficulty level. It's deeply rich and extremely rewarding, but if frustration is not your thing, you might pick another game on the list. And that brings me to the more light-hearted and early access project, the Bloodline. This game is a sandbox adventure RPG and is definitely one of the lesser known games on the list, and I haven't seen it called out by many other YouTube channels. You get to reforge bonds between kingdoms, explore the wilds, craft and plan adventures, and wield mighty weapons or magic as you prepare for what is to come. The game has a much simpler art style than Skyrim, but provides an exciting and dynamic environment for you to adventure in. You're able to explore the world, join various guilds, hunt magical creatures, or become a bard at the local tavern. The world is yours to enjoy and experience how you desire, and this very much reminds me of the experience of Skyrim. The game was only recently brought to early access on the 5th of October, and it still needs a lot of work. However, it is rated very positive on Steam with an 84% overall rating. But no doubt it needs a lot of work, but that still excites me, right? There's more to come from this title, and honestly, I think it's one of the more exciting games on the list. The next game on the list probably needs no introduction, and that is Kingdom Come Deliverance. But to this day, it's one of the most Skyrim-like experiences that I've played, although set in a very different environment. It is of course a story-driven open-world RPG that immerses you in an epic adventure in the Holy Roman Empire. I initially played this one on Xbox and I was blown away, and later went back to it on PC, and once again thought it was a magnificent experience. You set off on a quest to avenge your parents' death as you battle invading forces, go on game-changing quests, and make influential choices. I really love the historical flavour in this one. And of course, that's where it's very different to Skyrim and the high fantasy setting, but overall, the mechanics and the systems in this game feel very familiar. I can't say too much else about it really. It's a magnificent game, and if you haven't played it yet, it's definitely one to go out and check out. Coming up next, we have Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, and this also will be familiar to a lot of players. It's set in a huge open world, which presents a rewarding action combat experience. Players embark on an epic adventure in a rich, living environment with 3 AI companions known as pawns, and that really is the USP of this game, the pawn system. When I first played this game on Nintendo Switch, I found it a little jarring, but once I got past the first few hours, the game opened up into a rich and rewarding fantasy experience. There's absolutely tons of content with this game, a huge amount of customization options, some really great visuals, and it's really cheap to pick up and buy these days. I really enjoy the combat system in this game. Climbing on top of hydras, griffins and dragons as they fly to fight them is absolutely epic. On the comparison side, both are epic open-world RPGs featuring expansive fantasy realms, intense combat and the ability to shape one's destiny, yet differ in combat mechanics, with Dragon's Dogma offering a party-based system and Skyrim focusing on a more solo-orientated approach. The game is showing signs of its age, but with a sequel coming in 2024, it might be time to go back and see where it all started. Next in line is another unusual entry, and that game is Raidborn, an immersive first-person fantasy RPG with randomly generated dungeons and quests. Players are able to explore a world full of treasure, upgrade their gear, and level up to their heart's content, all while enjoying intense combat. Both Skyrim and Raidborn involve exploring dungeons, completing quests, and upgrading equipment, allowing players to shape their character's skills and engage in thrilling adventures in a rich, fantastical setting. It is important to note that Raidborn is another title on the list which is in early access, so expect development to occur as you play the game. Once again, it's always important to note that you buy early access titles at your own risk. I've been stung myself, but overall I do enjoy watching projects develop and hopefully become the finished product. This game excels itself in a straightforward game flow with a focus on dungeon crawling and procedurally generated dungeons and quests, currently offering between 15 and 20 hours of gameplay. Now, the one big difference with Skyrim is that there is no massive open world to explore in this game, so be prepared for a very focused experience overall. This is a very strong product and I'm encouraged by its development in early access. It's definitely one to go away and try out. As we approach the pinnacle of this list, we will talk about the Forgotten City. This is a narrative-driven time loop adventure set in ancient Rome. And if you think this looks similar to Skyrim, it's probably because it was based off a critically acclaimed mod of the same name. You will explore an open-world ancient Roman city with historically authentic art, architecture, costumes, and customs. During this adventure, you will investigate a gripping, non-linear mystery with multiple endings, and become entwined in the lives of richly detailed, deeply interactive characters. The game is extremely immersive and very impressive overall as a product. While the Forgotten City began as a mod for Skyrim, it evolved into a standalone game that explores themes of time travel and mystery within the Elder Scrolls universe, offering a unique experience while maintaining the essence of Skyrim's open-world RPG elements. However, the two games do diverge in terms of scale, focus, gameplay mechanics, and thematic elements, offering distinct experiences within the broader RPG genre. The game is an absolute blast and an incredible experience, rated overwhelmingly positive on Steam. So if you won't take my word for it, take the word of the mob. This game is worth your time. And finally, as we approach the top of the mountain, I present you Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. This is another unusual and early access title that, after playing it, inspired me to make this list. In this game, you will explore a dark version of Arthurian legends in a first-person open-world RPG, discover a world stuck in eternal autumn, see legendary tales unfold, and make important choices that shape a complex story. From its very opening, this game has Skyrim vibes, from going around reading books to collecting absolutely everything that I find and completely flooding my inventory. The story and atmosphere really gripped me with this one. I love the dark fantasy vibe. However, the combat doesn't quite match that yet, but they have released a patch which did greatly improve it. There is also lots of awesome dialogue and some very funny moments, although some dialogue isn't finished yet, and it can be a bit jarring when an AI chatbot suddenly takes over the storyline. But like I said, they have been patching the game and making steady progress towards their goal. I mean, at this point, I've put 15 hours into the game and feel like I've barely scratched the surface. Oh no, oops, I mean I've 100%ed the game like a lot of YouTubers lie about. You have to get those digs in when you can, right? But in all seriousness, it's a really great game that has dragged me into its world, and I've started 2 separate adventures on this one. I really think if you're into Skyrim, this game will definitely scratch that itch. And they actually state that you shouldn't expect AAA graphics on the Steam page, but I've been really impressed by the presentation in this game. Yes, performance needs some work, but really, it's one of the best games to look at that I play currently. If you're looking for that Skyrim-like experience, don't turn away from Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. It's a great representation of the open world RPG. So there we go, LT gamers, we have reached the top of the mountain and we have finished another list. Do not take this list as the be-all and end-all. You can call out plenty more games in the comments. I'd love to see what you would feature on this one. We only make these to inspire you and we really welcome your input. We're here to learn as well. With all that said, I really hope you enjoyed it and maybe you found out about some games you didn't know about. As always, I've been Luke from LT Gaming and I'll catch you on the next one.